Taji's World of Books, and welcome to another book recommendation / weekly reading wrap-up video. Welcome back to my channel, and as you heard, this is going to be a little bit different in that this is my weekly reading wrap-up, but at the same time I'm going to divide it into two separate categories because I want this to be a book recommendation video as well. Let me explain. I dove all the way in to Mafia world, and I'm reading all the Cora Chronicles, the Bound by Blood, or the Cora Reilly books, and so I've been doing that all week, and I was thinking, how am I going to divide this up in a way that makes the most sense since I'm not fully finished with the Cora Chronicles just yet. So what I'm going to do is do two separate videos. This video is going to be just the Bound by Blood books, and then I'll do another video on the spin-off series, the Cora Chronicles. So, having said that, I have several clips that I have filmed. Let's go ahead and go to those clips to hear my thoughts on those books, on the Bound by Blood. Okay, so the first book that I read, and I think actually the first book is Luca Vitiello's book, but it was published later, so I'm actually reading it in publication order, but I'm gonna tell you once I film the second half of that if you should start with that book or not. But I started with Bound by Honor, and I love this because this is Aria and Luca's story. This is my first official foray into Mafia romance, and I like it. I'm really excited about it. So let me start off by saying there is the ongoing story and plot of the two familias, the two families. There's the outfit, which is the Chicago outfit, and then there is the familia, which is the New York family. And so New York and Chicago have been at war for quite some time. And the head of the Chicago family is Dante, and the head of the New York family is Luca. Basically, their fathers die, basically, and turn it over to them. Okay, so this is where it starts. So Luca is set to marry, so they want to basically create an alliance. They want to stop the feud, stop the war, and start an alliance between Chicago and New York. And the best way to do that is through marriage. So Luca is set to marry Aria. Now, you have to remember, within the mob, right, and the mafia, women's roles are to be virgin brides, to be pure, to stay in the home of the father until they're married off to their husbands. And once they're married off to their husbands, they then become part of that family, and then the husbands have all the say in terms of what happens with them. And women have no voice in this world. It's very antiquated and it's like 10 decades behind, or a decade behind, or whatever. It's like behind where we are currently. Okay, so this is the story of Aria. Does not want to marry Luca because she feels that Luca he's a killer, he's a monster. Every dude in here they're all bad dudes. And the women all know that they have blood on their hands, and the money that they earn is blood money, so they don't trust them. They're afraid of them. They have notorious histories of being cruel to their spouses. She originally meets Luca when she's 14 years old, and she's betrothed to him, and nobody ever even asks her if she wants to marry him. She's just told that she's going to marry him, and she meets him, and he's very cold and callous and hard, and he's a killer. And so she's terrified, and she's never had any exposure with any men outside of her family, and and it would be a shame, on her her reputation if she were to fraternize with men. So this is definitely I hate everybody but you. Luca is a bad dude, but is he? You start to get hints of Aria, are you reading into all this subterfuge and what you suspect you think you know about him? Is he really who you think he is when it comes to you? Now, he might be who you think he is with respect to everybody else, and he may be a monster with them, but is he going to be a monster to you? And so it's their story of developing trust and respect and teamwork, working together. He definitely is an alpha hero. All of these stories, I would say, they border on enemies to lovers, you know, because she doesn't want to marry him. She doesn't want to have anything to do with him, but she's forced to, and she's going to do her duty, but she's not going to go down without a fight. And so it's intense. It's wonderful. I loved it. It's a 5 out of 5 star for me. The second book in the story is Bound by Duty. And Bound by Duty is Valentina and Dante. So this is now the Chicago outfits, their story. I loved this book. I loved it. As I've said to you before, I like to read an author's all the books out at one time, because you get to get used to the author's writing style and their voice and how they write, and so you become very familiar with that, and so it adds to the reading experience. So Valentina is, you meet Valentina in here, Bound by Honor, at Aria's wedding. Valentina is a widower. Her husband has died, and now it is time for her to come out of mourning, and her father has arranged for her to be married again to another widower. So Dante is a widower as well. Dante is like, they call him the cold fish. He like expresses no emotion. He's very flat. He's very stoic. He's very matter of fact, business, you know. He also is a stone cold killer and will think of nothing but to murder you if you cross him. And I love this story because there is the plot of the feud between the two factions is coming out. Other secrets that have been held are starting to come out. Dante is learning to trust Valentina. Valentina has to share secrets that she has held for so long with Dante to trust him, so that they can be a couple and a power couple and be together, and what that means. And she's going to do her duty, and he's going to do her duty, and they have to get past all these misunderstandings and really communicate. He has to learn how to express his feelings and what he's thinking and what he's feeling to her, and she has to learn to trust him and honor him and know that everything that's happening between them is happening for a reason, and that he truly does care for her, or if he doesn't care for her, what it really is all about. So Bound by Duty, another 5 out of 5 star for me. Great job. Now this is a book that we've been waiting for since book 1. This is Matteo and Gianna's story. This is Bound by Hatred. And I gotta tell you, I was dreading this book because Gianna gets on my nerves. Gianna, like, I understand Gianna. Gianna is like, you are not gonna tell me what to do. I am gonna do my own thing. I don't give a shit who you're my father. I don't care. I don't have any respect for you because you're a piece of shit. You're a murderer, you're this, you're that. And I don't care, and I'm gonna do what I wanna do. But also when Gianna is like, I'm gonna do what I wanna do, she is very selfish, and she doesn't think about the consequences of her actions and how that impacts others. She really is self-focused on what she needs, and I get it. I totally get it, because nobody wants to be forced into anything. So if you want to say that this is enemies to lover, they are bound by hatred, and Matteo is going to go to the ends of the earth to ensure that this match happens with Gianna, and Gianna's like, over my damn dead body. Like, bring it. And they bring it. And this is filled with angst. It's filled with drama. It's filled with like biting remarks and spitting retorts, and they have a lot of banter and a lot of back and forth. So it keeps you on the edge of your toes in terms of what they're going to say to each other, what they're going to do, if they're going to figure it out, like how is it going to end. And so I absolutely loved it. This story was really, really good. We waited. I was dreading it, but I'm so happy that I did it. And I love these books because they're like candy. Like you could just, I just gobble them up. Like, so I read them today I've already read like 2 books, and I'm probably going to finish a 3rd one today because I'm just like, oh my God, I can't get enough. So Gianna and Matteo, power, 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 but love it, love it, love it. 5 out of 5 star. Okay. And the last one that I have to talk about today is Bound by Temptation. Again, this is another book that we've been waiting for since book 1. We've been hearing about these folks, and so it was a culmination that we got to Romeo and Liliana's story, and whoo, this is a forbidden romance. Liliana is a little girl when she first meets Romeo, and you know, it just progresses from her being like 8 years old, 14 years old, 15 years old, so on. Nothing actually happens between them. Everything is very appropriate, but it is forbidden because he is a capo, he is a soldier, she is the daughter of the consigliere, which is basically like the consigliere is like the advisor of the boss. So you've got, you know, the boss, you got the consigliere, and then his children, and then one of the capos of New York is interested. So not only are you crossing from New York to Chicago, but you're also crossing from a soldier, which are like footmen that are out doing work, right, to somebody that's like royalty. So you can't do that. Like, that's just like a no, right? And so it's forbidden in that sense. And so it's what lengths will you go to ensure that you're going to be with the person that you love, and who has to die, and who do you have to cross, and, you know, is she going to be forced to be married? And it is just, whoo, I was gritting I think I ground my molars to dust in this one. Like, I was just like grinding my teeth, and I was clenched, and I was like, oh, when like, stuff that is going on, and I don't want to spoil it for you, but it is like on the edge of your seat, page turner. Can't wait to get to the next. These books, I'm telling you, do not sleep on Cora Reilly. I was really surprised. I've had them on my TBR for a long time. I've delayed reading them. I don't know why, but don't do what I did. Go out and get them and read them because they're absolutely amazing. Okay, having said that, we're going to finish the rest of the wrap up and go on to the final Bound By, and then hopefully get to the Cora Chronicles, and I'll tell you about that. See you over there. Hey, okay, so to finish up, well, I'm not finished, but to give you some more feedback on a couple more of the Bound By Cora Reilly books that I have read. So I went ahead and finished Bound by Vengeance, and I loved this book, you guys. I absolutely loved it. This is Growl and Cara. This is Growl and Cara's story, and I really loved it, you guys. It was like every book that I read, every subsequent book gets better and better. So this is a captor-captive situation, a fall from grace. Cara is like a mafia princess. You know, something happens, and as a result, she is no longer considered royalty, and so it, as a punishment to her and as a message to all of the other mafia families, she is given, so she's part of the Camorra family, the Las Vegas branch of this whole ongoing saga. So remember, we talked about that each individual book is an individual story between a couple, but there is a ongoing backstory between the different outfits. So now we've been introduced to the Camorra, which is the Las Vegas faction. Remember, we've got the outfit Chicago faction, and we've got Familia, which is the New York faction. So Cara is part of the Las Vegas faction. So as a punishment, she is given to Growl, and Growl can do to her whatever he wants to. And Growl is basically the enforcer, so he's the hitman, and he is heartless and ruthless and dark and deadly, and he's got a scar from here to here where somebody clearly with a serrated knife tried to cut his throat. Well, no, they cut his throat. They tried to kill him. So everybody is terribly afraid of him, and he's called Growl because he talks like that, because his vocal box was damaged as a result of the attempted murder on his life. So this is a story of survival. This is a broken hero. You guys know I love me a broken hero. Growl is no exception, but it's like, I'm deadly to everybody else but you type situation. And it is a beautiful story. I absolutely loved it. I gave it a 5 out of 5 star. You guys, like, this one is, and oh, the other part of the story, well, I won't tell you because I want to keep it a surprise. So definitely check it out. It is amazing. The next book in the story, this is Bound by Love, and it's one of the heavier stories. I absolutely love it because this is Aria and Luca again and their story. And this is a second chance romance. This is about respect. It's about honesty. It's about love. It's about triumph. It's about forgiveness. It's about loyalty. It's so much. It's so beautiful because Aria and Luca's story is absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. And I don't want to give away too much, but this is no exception. It's gorgeous in so many ways. And both Aria and Luca have a lot of growth to do. You know, we know that Luca is a monster because he is the capo. He is the boss of the Familia, the New York outfit. Aria is his princess, a mafia princess from the Chicago outfit that they married to bring the two families together. And Aria will do anything to save her family, even if that means putting herself in danger and at risk. And whew, you know, all the characters are here. We see many of the characters from all the other books are coming up. That's why I love this story so much, because we get to see everybody, you know, evolving and growing and developing. And this is no exception. A 5 out of 5 star for sure. A beautiful, beautiful story. Check it out. So then I read Luca Vitale, and Luca Vitale's story. This is, okay, on Goodreads, it says that this is the novella. So it comes before Bound by Honor. I'm going to tell you, and I read it in chronological order as it was published, because I figured, like, if you read it for the first time, that's where you would have read it. And so that is absolutely fine to read it after Bound by Love, because you get to hear Luca's story. But I'm going to tell you that the best place to read this book is not before Bound by Honor. I'm going to say to read it after Bound by Honor, because you get to hear Aria's point of view, and then you get to hear Luca's point of view. So that's where I'm going to say, if you choose not to read it in publication order, then read it Bound by Honor and then Luca's story. And Luca's story it's from his perspective, it's from his point of view. It tells you all about his relationship with his father, all the things that in Bound by Honor, where Luca is off for those 3 years and you don't see him, you get to see what's happening. You get to see his relationship with his brother, Matteo. So it's Matteo from, you know, here, their dynamic and the closeness that they have. And I think it's a really necessary book. And, you know, whilst, because I've already read Bound by Honor, it was, well, it's like a 4.5. Let me say that. It's a 4.5 because it is a little bit of a retelling, but you get a lot more dynamic and depth to it that, you know, you wouldn't have gotten in Bound by Honor, but a really good book nonetheless, because you do need to hear his POV, because you sort of in Bound by Honor see him as a bit of a monster, but then you understand from his point of view why he says and does what he does. When you hear it from Aria's perspective, you're like, what? But when you hear it from his perspective, you're like, okay, that makes sense. I get it. So again, definitely a worthwhile read. So then I read Bound by Past. I just finished this up last night. Y'all, this is Dante and Valentina's story. And whoo, it is, you get like, to the beginning half of it, you're like, yeah, got it. Because it's like the same thing with Luca. Like, it's a retelling of stuff that's been happening that you saw in Bound by Duty in Valentina and Dante's first story. So you were like, yeah, got it. Second half of this book, you're like, what the hell? Now you get to see the Camorra, and you get to see why the Camorra are the freaking monsters that they are, because you are just like, what the hell is going on? And then you get to see a lot of stuff that happened in Bound by Love that sort of manifests itself over here. And so you're just like, what? This is so good. And so by the time it's all done, you're like, I can't wait to get into the Twist Me stuff, because the Twist Me, the spin-off series, is all about the Camorra guys. And so you're just like, I gotta get in here and see what's going on. So you guys, this is a 5 out of 5 star for me. 5 out of 5 star for me. So much you were like, I didn't realize I loved Dante so much. Dante is freaking phenomenal, and his relationship with Valentina is amazing. And it is just, whoo, heavy, but really, really good. So it's definitely a 5 out of 5 star. Oh, right now I'm reading Bound by Blood, the anthology, all the short stories. So in our next clip, we'll hear about that. See you over there. Okay, so now the final book in the series that I want to talk about is the Bound by Blood. This is a bind up. This is an anthology, and this is 5 short stories. Basically, you've got 4 short stories and then one long story. So the long story is basically of Matteo and Gianna. And so what's happening with Matteo and Gianna and how things are going. This fast forwards about 10, 12 years, something like that. So you get to hear what's going on with Gianna. Gianna, for me, is no different. She's still selfish as always. She's not my favorite character. You know, I dreaded her book. I said it already. So I don't know. It was like, I was happy to hear it and I was happy to hear what happened, but at the same time, like, Gianna is not my favorite character, so I didn't feel much about it. Arya and Luca, like, are the same. Like, it was good to hear about them. It was good to hear, you know, what Arya is willing to do for Gianna. So that was good. It was like, you know, it was just like one more thing. It was kind of cool. They threw in a story of Mauro and Stella, so I was kind of like, who are these people? And what is going on? It wasn't a long story. It was on lockdown, so they were locked down in a panic room, and so you were just like, that's really interesting. So I'm going to have to do some research to find out who these two characters are, because I'm assuming that they're in one of the other books. I know it's not Sweet Temptation, because Sweet Temptation is Julia and Cassio's story, so they're associated with the New York outfit. So I got to research Mara and Stella to find out who they are. We did get to hear Growl and Kara's story. So Growl and Kara, that was my favorite story in here because I love Growl. I love their story. I needed to hear what happened. I was so happy to hear how they're doing. I'm so happy to hear where things have gone and his development with the New York familia. So it was really, really nice. I was really pleased with that. And then Romero and Liliana, like, it was like, oh, you know, it's exactly what I expected. So all in all, this is 4 out of 5. I was like happy I did it. It's not on audiobook. I listened to it through Alexa. I got the, this book is on Kindle Unlimited, so I had the Alexa app read it to me. So it was, you know, it's never perfect, right? Because Alexa doesn't do male voices, right? She does it all like in female voices. So it's a little bit, you got to pay attention because I'm like, oh, was that Matteo? Oh, that was Matteo. That wasn't Gianna speaking. So I got a little bit confused in that respect. But all in all, I would say that it's pretty decent. So having said that, you guys, Cora Reilly is outstanding. She writes a Mafia book like nobody's business. I'm really, really happy that I started off with her. She gave me everything that I wanted. The Bound by Blood series is all 5 out of 5 star, except the last book was a 4 out of 5 star, but absolutely well worth it. If you're looking for a Mafia romance, if you're looking for good smut, if you're looking for romance, if you're looking for broken heroes, if you're looking for alphas, if you're looking for traditional values that the females are pushing back against, and like, you can't tell me what to do, but at the same time, they're like, I'll submit, but I'll submit to you, but no, I'm not, and it's a push and pull, and it's angsty. She gives you everything, and then some. So it is absolutely what you want, and then some, and a bag of chips. So that is all that I have for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like and subscribe. And you know, I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So please come back. And next time I think we're going to talk about the spin-off series, The Cora Chronicles. So I'll see you over there. Bye.